Alrighty, let's see what this one says. Do your kids have the same dad? What's up, Cosie Wosie? It's your girl Cosie, and I'm back with my first podcast video. So, as y'all can see, I got a little setup going on here, of course, and it's just like, I got like a little sign that says Cosie Wosie. I tried to focus it, but it's not focusing. I got a sign that says, um, my sense of humor may hurt your feelings, just, good vibes. uh less supportive, feeling good, happy and welcome. So I asked people to ask me some questions, like family, friends, my Instagram, my social medias. To start this podcast off, I'm gonna start it off a little bit about y'all. No, telling y'all about myself. So I got the questions. I have them wrote up. I have them in this little thing. So I'm basically just pull them and get one and talk about it. Basically, this is. And then it's gonna be our first podcast video. Let's get right into it. Okay, y'all. So let's start. Let's see what my first question is. So it says, "What's your name and where you from?" So my name is Jacozy Billard. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we're on to the next question. It says, "What's one piece of advice you can share with your listeners?" So one thing I would share with my listeners will be to be yourself, do what you feel that you want to do. Don't let nobody tell you different. Take your words and turn them into actions. Definitely. Next question. What's some topics you'll be discussing on your podcast? Good question. So some topics I'll be discussing like love, respect, relationship, kids, single mom, life, just like, general topics. I'm gonna be having some guests on the podcast as well. Just wait for it. But I'm super excited about this, y'all. Super excited. Alrighty, let's see what this one says. Do your kids have the same dad? Yes, my kids have the same dad. They have the same mom and the same dad, okay? Yeah. How is it being in a relationship with someone in jail? So, first off and foremost, my boyfriend's in jail now. He hasn't always been in jail, okay? So it's not like it's like a jailhouse relationship, but um, it can be very challenging at times, because he's not here. I'm used to him being here. And the challenges really arise because it's like, thoughts are flowing, your mind's flowing. You're not knowing what he's doing or who he's talking to. He's not knowing what I'm doing or who I'm talking to. So it's just a lot of bumpy roads in the process. But the relationship that me and him have is over the top. So, we could talk about anything, we could tell each other anything. It gets real rocky. But overall, I mean, it's nice. It's challenging. I mean, he still does what he needs to do as a father, as a man, as my boyfriend. Um, nothing really changes. Like he's not here, like, here physically. You know, it's costly too, but that's all. Other than that, like, it's fine. We go through our stuff, but we always figure a way to work it out at the end. Good question though. What is a unique thing about yourself? So one unique thing about myself is that I'm just like this outspoken person, but I'm a very observant person. So, like most people wouldn't really want to talk to me when they first meet me, but if you get to know me, you'll love me. To love me is to know me is to love me, honestly. But yeah, so one unique thing I say about myself is life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. And it's me. You never know what you're gonna get out of me. Okay. Next question. What are some of the most important relationships in your life? So some of the most important relationships in my life will be my relationship with myself first, with my kids, with God, with my parents, with my grandparents, my siblings, um, my kid's father, really, my money situation, my money relationship. Basically, just getting there. And like with the sibling situations, um, I have a brother on my mom's side, and then I have like seven sisters on my dad's side. I don't really talk to my sisters on my dad's side. I really don't know them, but I would like to get to know them. But like on my mom's side, it's just me and my brother. So, yeah, so I love my brother to death. So yeah, their relationship has to always be, top notch. And then with my nieces and my nephews, I want the relationship to be top notch too, because you could come to TT for anything, anything. You know what I mean? Next question. How is it being a full-time mom and a cheer coach? Good question. So being a full-time mom is very challenging, but I love it. I love being a mom. I love being a full-time mom, honestly. So being a full-time mom and a cheer coach can sometimes be hard to balance because it's like I'm their mom too. I'm my little cheer daughter's mom as well as I'm my own kid's mom. But I kind of balance it out, because like at the same time of being a cheer coach, I have to, think of it as motherly intuitions that I'm using when I'm coaching or, mentoring to those little girls. And like as far as my kids and being a full time mom, I just do what I need to do to, get them to where they need to be. Um, I get everything done in the, time to matter. I kind of put myself on a schedule sometimes. I try and, I just do what I gotta do to make it work. My favorite holiday. My favorite holiday is Christmas. I love Christmas. If you know me, I go above and beyond for Christmas, but I love Christmas. Can't wait to Christmas. Jolly Holly Christmas. What is the hardest challenge you've had to overcome? Really good question. So one of the hardest challenges I had to ever overcome was realizing that, that my biological dad, you know, isn't real active. Like through my through my childhood, through my life. That's all I ever wanted, was to have like my real biological dad by my side, or at certain events, stuff like that. So the challenge I had to overcome was there was like let him be how he wants to be included in my life. It was real hard for me to get over that, but eventually I got over it. And now I'm just living. And if he comes around, if I see him, you know, I'm going to soak up as much time as I can with him and enjoy the times that I do have with him. I won't force anything on him. Next question. What gives you motivations to keep going during hard times? Whew. So, seeing my mom when I was younger, sometimes having to be a single mom when my stepdad was either, in and out of prison or, cheating or whatever you may call it. She never gave up. She never gave up on us. And once I had kids, I took that same energy, like to never give up on my babies, to never give up on my kids. Like if it was something there, my motivation to keep going, to keep pressing, to keep going harder, to keep it going. Like no matter what, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to stop because at the end of the day, guess what? The way I looked at my mom, I'm pretty sure that's the way that they look at me. It's plenty of times that mom, I cry, I'm sad, I'm depressed. Sometimes I even take my anger out on them. But as I sit back and I think about it, oh, mommy's sorry. Like I have to reassure them that's not like mommy's sorry. So I try like to keep my composure when I'm around them. I try to like, express my feelings behind closed doors because it would break me to break them. So I try my best to let all negativity fly by and do what I gotta do for them. No matter what, I'm not giving up. I'm not gonna stop. They going to the top with mommy. How is your relationship with your parents? So this is a good question. This is a real touchy topic, but I'm willing to answer it. So as far as my parents, I'm blessed to have three parents. Honestly, I have my mom, my dad, and my stepdad. So with my mom, we haven't always been like this mom daughter dude, but now we're mom daughter dude. It took time, for me to understand her to understand me, us to come together and, see how we can really make this relationship work. Because what girl, doesn't want her mom around or, doesn't want her mom? Every girl wants their mom. So, as far as like with my mom, our relationship now is perfect. We're like best friends, Bonnie and Clyde. You see her, you see me. Um, With my biological dad, like I once stated previously, we really don't have a relationship. It's just like if I see him at, something that my aunties invite me to a family event, hey dad, what's up dad? This not, like joking this not about, him not doing certain things or him not coming around. But I've accepted the fact that, to just let him be. So it's like if I see you type thing like, hey dad, what's up? My stepdad, we haven't always been one to like, dad and daughter. But one thing I can always say is that I come to realize that he was never the problem. Like he was never the issue. It was really me trying to force my real dad to be a dad when the whole time I have a dad. I have someone who's been my father figure. I have someone who's, stepping up to the plate. I have someone who is, like showing me that daughter and dad love, that father love that I needed. Even though my stepdad was in and out of jail, like, he would never, like, just downplay me as not being his biological daughter because you can't tell him that I'm not his daughter. Like, if I call, he's coming. Like he's gonna drop what he's doing. He's coming to see what his daughter needs. Like he gonna complain, but he's coming to help his baby girl. And I love him for that. Like I love my dad. I love my stepdad. I love my mom. I love all my parents. I just, sometimes I wish things were different because they really affected me as a child, like really bad, to where like childhood was really rough. But that's another conversation. I end up picking up another question. It says, "What do you do?" I guess like my career wise. So if you guys didn't know, I'm a preschool teacher. I love kids, y'all. I love the kids. Um, so I teach right now. I currently teach at the Head Start. And I eventually expect to, get my own center, learning center, to have like my own little learning center and, you know, go forward with my passion with kids. Next question. What made you start a podcast? So what made me really want to start this podcast is, you know, some people have answers, some people have questions, and I feel like we need more talks. We need more sit down and let's talk about this topic because maybe it can help someone. I'm only 27 years old. I've been through a lot, just like with life, relationships, childhood, mental state. Like I feel like I've been through a lot. And I feel like I could sit down and, talk with others about it, express my way about it, you know, talk about it with others. So that's my main goal of this podcast. That's the main goal. Ooh, we down to the last little side question. What does it mean to be a good friend to you? Hmm. A good friend to me is someone who like cares, loving, someone who you can call when you need them. You know, trustworthy, loyal, someone who you could depend on. You know what I mean? Because everyone needs somebody to depend on, and a friend should be that person sometimes, majority of the times. Um, Not meaning that you and your friend, a good friend, got to talk to every day. No, no. If you can call on that friend when you need that friend, that's a good friend. That's a good friend. A good friend is someone who understands you, who trusts you, not no one who thinks you just got to sit with them, talk every day, go out. No, mm-mm, no. Let's see. How did you meet your baby daddy? Was he your first love? So I met my baby daddy in his neighborhood that he's from, which is Mayfair. I met my baby daddy in Mayfair. Quick little story time on it. I was actually walking down the street with one of my used to be friends, homegirl, associates, whatever you want to call it. Um, and she was like, Cozy, look at Burger. Um, I bet you want to speak to him. So I'm like, why wouldn't I? I'm like, hey Burger, what's up, Burger? He like, come here. Went up to him. He like, what's your name? I'm like, Cozy. He's like, how old you is? I'm like, old enough. He like, oh, okay. He got my number. I got his number. And boy, bet it was history. But then I eventually told him that my real age and all that. But he took his time with me. And was he my first love? I wouldn't necessarily say like he was my first love. He was my first, I feel like, real relationship, but not really. But I loved it. I don't know if I was in love, but I definitely had two other people before him who I really like, considered, I'm like loving them and, just was lovable, but heartbroken. And, okay. Um, Two more questions after this. What's the story behind the name of your podcast? So the podcast is called Cosie Wosie Show. I'm Cosie, of course. Being younger, my family used to call me Cosie Wosie, so I feel like, why not stick to Cosie Wosie? That's what I'm giving y'all. The Cosie Wosie version of me. Yeah, but it's in Cosie Wosie. Okay, yeah, I had to change the angle. It may be okay. Let's see what's the next question. How did you become a cheer coach? So, if you don't know, my son plays little league football. Our first year there, um, they had a little cheer squad that was trying to be in the making, but they actually didn't. They didn't finish it. So, the next year around, the coaches knew that they figured I knew how to dance. So they thinking dance and cheer go together, but it doesn't. But I'm like, okay, fine, I can take that role of being a cheer coach. Took the role of being a cheer coach, and I love it. I don't think I'll go back to dancing. I actually want to, eventually get a cheer studio. I think that the cheer world is very different than the dance world, and it's very complicated and it's nourishing. Like cheer is fun, cheer is exciting, cheer is very different, cheer is open minded. You have to be like, very precise with it. Coming from a dance world to a cheer world was very challenging for me because I have no background in cheer. I mean, I cheer like when I was, when my brother was playing Little League and I was younger, but that was only like 1 year. Then that I wanted to dance. So this cheer challenge has been cheering and I love it. I would trade it for the world. Shout out to GBR Panthers because that's who I coach for. And yeah, that's it. And this is gonna be my fourth year coaching. This year is my fourth year coaching, and I love it. Okay. This is the last and final question. Let's see what it says. Tell us about your childhood. So, my childhood was very challenging. For the most part, it was always me and my brother. I had real fun being a child. Growing up, I kind of felt like the outer child, mostly because, like I said previously, I really want my dad to be in the picture. I wanted my dad there. And with my stepdad there, with my stepdad being my brother's dad, it's just like, oh my gosh. So I really was, really wanted my own dad there to be in the picture. And that was a big struggle for me. Like with my mental, it just used to put me in a different stage of life. Like, like how, like why, it had me ask a lot of questions. Excuse me. Uh I mean, for the most part, of my childhood. It was fun. I did a lot of things and with my childhood. Just, battling with my mental was like really one of the most hardest thing I had doing in my childhood because, you know, of my parenting situation. But my mom was awesome mom. Like, even though I guess I didn't understand at that age, but now I get it. I understand. She was doing what was best for her, what was best for us. I always had questions, she always gave answers. At one point, just growing up, she was always just there. I told you so, mom, and I hated that. I hated it. I needed more so of a mom to, listen sometimes, and, care. And, not saying that she didn't care, but it was always just, I told you so, I told you so, instead of listening and, hearing what her daughter had to say. So, um, me and my brother, we had a little rocky relationship when we were younger as well. It was just always da 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 da. We used to be at each other's neck. Did I tell y'all we used to be at each other's neck? But now you couldn't get that. Now I'll be any up for my brother. You get me? Anybody. Male, female, grandma, uncle, kids, anybody. Speaking of beating people up, my childhood consisted of a lot of fighting. I used to fight my tail off. I used to love to fight. I love to fight. I've changed now, but when I tell you I would click in 2.5 seconds and fight any and everybody, yes, I would. But I've changed now, and I think I'm really proud of the childhood that I had because it helped me become the woman that I am today. It helped me grow in numerous ways that I didn't think I'd grow, and I'm really proud of that. Yeah. So that's it for the questions. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in to Cosie Wosie's first podcast episode. The next episode, I'm going to have a guest. And you guys will see, I'm trying to drop these videos every Tuesday or Wednesday. Not sure yet, but yeah, definitely next Tuesday or Wednesday. This video will be dropped this Tuesday or Wednesday. Whenever you see it, you gonna see it. So make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to this video. Thanks for watching Cosie Wosie's podcast. See you later.